Selecting a blockchain platform is not a technology popularity contest. It starts with business and regulatory requirements, tests deployment models and build versus buy choices, and turns risk into a recommendation executives, compliance, security, and engineering can trust. You've already built the business and architecture foundation, then compared network models, platforms, and developer tools. Now we convert that analysis into a defensible selection decision, so the platform choice can support token design and smart contract architecture next. For regulated digital assets, platform choice is more than a search for speed or lower fees. The platform becomes part of the control environment. It shapes who can transact, what can be audited, how privacy is protected, when settlement is final, and how custody connects. A defensible recommendation ties those trade-offs to business goals, risk appetite, key assumptions, and clear triggers for review. Start by defining the operating problem the blockchain must solve. Identify the asset, bond, fund unit, equity, real asset, stablecoin, or settlement token. Then map who participates, what each party is allowed to do, and how transactions move through issuance, transfer, redemption, settlement, and reporting. Bring jurisdiction, eligibility, data residency, and regulatory obligations into the discussion early. The right platform is the one that fits this operating model, not the one with the most features. Next, agree on the yardstick before comparing platforms. Some criteria are non-negotiable: security, regulatory fit, privacy, and transaction finality. Others can be weighted, such as performance, standard support, ecosystem depth, and maintainability. This separation prevents a fast or familiar platform from looking stronger than it really is. Include business, legal, compliance, security, operations, and engineering in the criteria discussion. Then document assumptions around jurisdiction, asset class, investor type, volume, and custody model. With criteria in place, judge every option against the same enterprise priorities. Instead of asking which blockchain is best, the matrix asks, best for which priorities? Security, privacy, finality, throughput, governance, integration, and ecosystem maturity should carry different weights based on business goals. Scores create structure, but notes explain the trade-offs. Because platforms and requirements change, version the matrix and revisit it as part of architecture governance. Security evaluation is not just asking whether the blockchain is secure. It means testing every layer that can affect assets and obligations. Protocol consensus, validator trust, smart contracts, APIs, custody, infrastructure, and operations. For regulated issuance, also examine governance controls. Who can access nodes, approve transactions, rotate keys, monitor anomalies, and respond to incidents? Strong platforms combine prevention with recovery, so failures, attacks, or chain disruptions can be contained without breaking business continuity. Regulatory suitability is not simply whether a platform can record transactions. It is whether the platform can enforce rules around who may participate, what they may see, and what evidence must be preserved. Public networks maximize transparency, but they can expose sensitive data. Permissioned or hybrid models offer stronger control through identity, private channels, off-chain storage, and selective disclosure. The goal is reliable regulator access and audit trails, while limiting unnecessary visibility for investors, issuers, and competitors. Settlement design is not only about speed. Probabilistic finality may work for some activity, but regulated delivery versus payment, custody records, and investor reporting often need stronger practical or deterministic assurance. Evaluate normal volume, peak bursts, latency, fee volatility, and network behavior under congestion. Published throughput claims are useful starting points, not proof. Validate performance with realistic proof-of-concept workloads tied to the actual settlement process. Standard support is what makes a token usable beyond its initial build. A platform should align with the token model you need, whether that is ERC20, NFT-style standards, security token standards, or a native asset framework. Then check the surrounding ecosystem: wallets, custody, identity, compliance, exchanges, reporting, and settlement. Interoperability can extend reach, but bridges and messaging layers add risk. Prefer mature standards unless your regulatory model truly requires customization. Feature fit is only part of the decision. The platform must also be maintainable for years. Look at the people ecosystem: developers, SDKs, partners, auditors, and support capacity. Then examine the process: roadmap clarity, governance, upgrade cadence, and backward compatibility. Finally, test the operational foundation: monitoring, node management, alerting, and incident response. The biggest risks are often practical ones, such as scarce talent, vendor lock-in, weak tooling, niche technology, or standards that never fully converge. Build versus buy is really a control versus leverage decision. Build capabilities that define competitive advantage, require deep customization, or sit inside sensitive security and regulatory boundaries. Buy capabilities that are standardized, expertise-heavy, or stronger at vendor scale, such as custody, compliance tooling, or managed infrastructure. Most enterprise platforms land in the middle. Keep architecture, governance, and critical controls internal, then use vendors selectively where speed, certifications, and operational maturity reduce risk. Vendor choices can speed up launch, but they also become part of the risk architecture. Imagine an issuer using a managed tokenization platform, external custody, and a third-party node provider. Before locking in the platform choice, due diligence must cover security, resilience, support, finances, jurisdictions, and incident history. Just as important, define the exit path: data portability, key ownership, contract rights, and migration feasibility. Then keep monitoring because vendor risk changes over time. A final recommendation should tell a decision story, not just name a winner. Capture the context, options, criteria, decision, rationale, and consequences in an architecture decision record. Make the uncertainty explicit: regulatory change, vendor lock-in, ecosystem maturity, scalability, and privacy limits. For each risk, define mitigations such as a proof of concept, security review, legal check, or phased rollout. Finally, set review triggers so the decision evolves when markets, volumes, platforms, or incidents change. Platform selection is where strategy, regulation, technology, vendors, and operational risk come together. Define criteria before comparing options. Treat build versus buy as a strategic trade-off. Document residual risks and mitigations clearly. This decision becomes the foundation for token standards, asset models, and smart contract architecture.